Time to get real with TJ Ward. I'm really excited to have you here because you're local.
I am.
From San Francisco.
Yep.
Coming up here from LA. And he's the real deal. Okay, Super Bowl 50, 10 years ago in San Francisco. How amazing was it? What did it feel like to win the Super Bowl in your hometown?
It was a dream come true.
I mean,
literally.
wow.
A slow motion victory after we won. And everything just came back to me from starting my journey here in San Francisco Bay Area. So just an amazing experience.
Well, on Get Real, we want to know the origin story. So how did it all get started, TJ?
Okay, I was born here in San Francisco in the Bayview district. Then we moved to Antioch in the East Bay when I was about 8 years old, and that's when I started playing football for the Antioch Youth Football Organization. Went to De La Salle High School, played there, didn't play much until my senior year. Then I broke my knee my senior year in high school during that final season and had to get healthy. So I ended up walking on at the University of Oregon and had a couple of more injuries early while I was there. Started my junior year, had a really, really good junior year. Made second team or honorable mention, all league Pac-10 at that time. Came back from my senior year, had a high ankle sprain first game of that season. So I missed half of my senior year again. And no, it all been a blessing. Still got drafted second round. Went number 38 overall to the Cleveland Browns. Played 4 years there. Signed a free agent deal with the Denver Broncos. Won the Super Bowl in my second year with them. Played one more year for the Broncos. Then they released me and I got picked up by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And played 1 year in Tampa Bay. And that was pretty much my last full season. I had a small stint with the Arizona Cardinals for a little while. And once I retired about 2020, I started my sports agency, which has now transitioned to sports agency and NIL management and marketing.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. I wanted to talk about that.
Yes. And then last year I started my podcast, Safety First. So I've been doing that this past season, just talking about the game, talking about the week-to-week content in the NFL. And halfway through the season, I got picked up by Arena Gridiron with
Skip
awesome. Bayless.
To come and overcome injury and win a Super Bowl ring. I mean, how did it happen? What's your secret? What is it about you?
Oh, man, I would say hard work. No, it's something not special, honestly. You know, hard work and determination, man, and continually to focus on what you want to get done no matter what steps in your way. I know I'm pretty sure that you've had some obstacles that
for sure
didn't know they were coming and didn't know when they would stop. But no matter what, you got to keep going. You got to keep persisting. If you really want something, you got to keep going after it no matter what happens.
So we've been talking a lot with different guests this week about leaving the bubble of pro football and maybe college football. What was it like to retire? And, you know, it sounded like you went right into business. Was there a transition? Was it easy, hard? No big deal?
There was a transition during, I would say, the pivot. Like, there wasn't much time off of, because I just wanted to keep active and find something to really pursue. And my dad, he was an entrepreneur. He worked out here, had his own building maintenance company called Ward Building Maintenance, WBM. And I just seen his daily hustle growing up, his daily grind, him getting up and working late hours, working early hours, coming back and forth from San Francisco to Antioch. And I knew I wanted to be in control of what I was doing as a professional. So
I can relate to that as an entrepreneur starting a business.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think's the most important thing as an entrepreneur? You mentor people in this.
Yeah.
What do you tell them?
I think it's putting the correct team around you, finding the correct team and that works well together. You guys don't always have to be chummy and get along, but people with work ethic, same goals in mind. And at the end of the day, it's about pursuing one goal, right? And sometimes you have to give and take, some things. And even as the boss, conform and listen
Yeah, that
But
took me a few years to
yeah,
learn.
I'm still working on it.
Yeah,
I'm still working
it's
on
not
it. But
easy.
it's definitely something that you need, man. The team around you is so important.
Well, listening's a talent,
Yes.
right? It's
Yes.
not something, and it doesn't come naturally to many people, especially given what you've had to do. And I think what what turned the worm? Did something happen that made you realize I got to change the way I approach this?
I think kind of the lessons I learned in football, getting injured,
Yeah,
like realizing that anything can be gone in an instance. Um, and then another thing I would say is trying to be responsible for everything is too stressful. It's
yeah.
too hard. Like trying to control every little factor of your business. You just have to trust like you do in sports or like I did in sports. Like you have to trust that the right guard is going to do his thing. You're going to have to trust that the corner has studied and is going to handle his responsibilities. And that's why it's so important to getting the right people in your building.
Well, it's funny that we are talking a lot about sports and business, and I would think the sporting experience makes you more prepared to build a business because of the things you just said. I guess what's been the biggest challenge to scaling and growing your business so far?
Man, it's so challenging. I don't even think I've gotten to that level where it's been a huge scale. We're still at the, the lower levels of this building, but we're building and understanding it takes time. You can't rush anything, but we're scaling and adding new pieces daily and weekly, and communication key. Keep the communication lines open because we can't read each other's minds. And if you're thinking of something, you have to relay that and vice versa. So we know right, wrong, or indifferent. We know where we're at. We're not assuming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always say, well, that's what my firm is about is communications.
Okay.
Communications is leadership. Leadership is communications. That's what I've, espoused in the years. I'm in year 25. I got 2,500 people that work for us now. And, it's something you can do.
Yeah.
You're filling an unmet need. What is that unmet need in the market that you're filling with your business?
Checks and balances, the roles and responsibilities. It's still, sometimes some of those get blurred. Sometimes the lines get blurred. And in making sure everybody's handling what they're supposed to handle, I can't help it personally. It's like, let me step in and do that. Like, I'll just do it type. And it's like, no,
That's a
don't do
mistake.
it.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm probably learning the most right now. Like you said, it's a skill. You got to work at it.
Well, are they watching you work or are they going to do the job, right? So you got to give them a chance to do it.
Yeah.
But that's probably the hardest thing to realize where you stop and they start,
It's
on the
not
team.
easy to find good workers.
No.
Like, it's not. You think, coming away from the sports world that in the, I would guess, just the normal working world, people don't have that ethic in them. They don't. Some do, but a lot don't.
And you
They
really,
start and
I
they
don't think
quit.
you can teach that, right? It's
I
not
don't
something
think
you can
so
teach.
either. I think it's something that you can usually you can be taught that, but it has to start at a young age.
Well, you change the culture of a business by who you hire. Is there someone on your team right now who's making a difference and changing the trajectory?
I have a few people, my partners, my friends and family. I bounce a lot of advice off from them, especially my dad and my mom, about how I should handle certain situations, how I should handle certain partnerships. And I think in both of my businesses is handling the business and the back office before you start putting feet to pavement.
The balancing act I don't think people appreciate when you start your own business and it's all your money.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean,
Yeah.
or friends and family, which is even more intense. Having that. Now that I've sold to private equity, I have a board and all the things that, come with that. But I was kind of glad I got them, because they gave me some boundaries, so what's next steps here? I mean, what do you see coming up for the business in the next year?
I want to just expand and get better at the content, get better guests. As far as the agency and NIL is making my network bigger, get in contact with more collectives and GMs and colleges. I know a lot of coaches already right now. I was just up at Cal. It was funny because I was at Cal Saturday. I flew back to LA to get ready, and then I flew back here Tuesday. So balancing the two businesses is really probably my most difficult part because I started them at the same time.
And there's another bit, it's the family business, right?
The family business, which is the Family Foundation, which is the War Boy Project, and creating a board. We did that in the last 2 years, which has helped us tremendously.
What's the focus of that?
Our focus is youth development, whether it's providing scholarships to private schools, whether it's health and wellness, financial literacy, mentorship. My grandmother was a huge community activist out here in San Francisco in the 70s and 80s.
What's her name?
Shirley Jones.
Oh, yeah.
And she worked with Mayor Willie Brown, and she had daycares in the Bayview Hunters Point community, and she's always been a pillar of the community. So just being a part of the community, helping kids in the community has always been something in our family blood. Like, it's something we do.
It's just you do, and you're going to keep doing. So before we wrap up, I just, always ask a couple of easy lobby questions, but they're fun, so we aren't going to be so serious, right? Tell me, what's the best vacation you've ever been on?
The best vacation I've been on was I just went to Spain. I think it was 2 years ago, and we did the Below Deck show with Bravo.
Get out. Really?
Yeah, man. It was a great trip.
See? How did I miss that?
It
just Below Deck Mediterranean.
Right.
Yeah, well, I'm not up to speed. I'm a big Bravo fan.
I didn't know it was a big show, and when I did it, I didn't know it was such a big show. I was so ignorant.
So how'd you behave on the everything?
I was pretty somber.
Yeah.
But I had some great moments on the show. Like, we were on the yacht for a few days. We stopped in Germany, Berlin for the first day, and then we flew to Spain. And once we got off the boat for the 2 days, we stayed in Spain for 2 days. Then we flew back to Berlin and flew back. It was my first time across the pond.
You buried the lead for me there. But is it Captain Sandy or Jason?
Sandy. It was Sandy. Yeah. She was great. The whole crew was great. We chat sometimes on Instagram with some of the staff. But
she's good people.
Man,
right?
It was a great time. But other than that, I like the Caribbean. So I had a good time in Grenada. Grenada's a good island, man. The people are great down there. Yeah. What about you?
My best vacation, I would say, was a vacation to Israel with two families. And that was about long before all the problems that we've seen today.
Yeah.
But boy, they were boiling up when we were there. So we learned a lot about that. And it's a complicated, messy situation. But boy, did we learn a lot. And, there's some it's just stuff we're not used to here in America. Mm-hmm. I think we take a lot for granted the way we live, but those borders are not so secure as we now know.
Yeah.
And so there's a feeling of incredible culture and pride and diversity. You'd be surprised. There was a lot of diversity in that country. So I learned a lot. That was my favorite one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds
100%.
amazing.
Oh, you're turning the tables.
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
Well, no, that's okay. I like it. Soundtrack of your life, if there was one, what would the album be?
Ooh, a soundtrack of my life. That is a good one. I'm more of a movie person than
you can go movie.
Music,
we're good.
If I was going to pick a song, it'd have to be something about being an underdog. Maybe like Eye of the Tiger or something.
Ooh,
that's
sweet.
my son's favorite song.
Oh, that's a cool song.
He loves it. I love that song.
That's more my era,
He's
brother.
turned it into my favorite song because there's such a message in it. And
that's amazing that he even knows it. How old is he?
He's 5.
All right. Hey, that's what streaming
Bro,
is.
My son
what's old is
different.
New again.
He's 5 years old, and Eye of the Tiger is his favorite song.
No kidding. So what's one thing you're going to get real this whole week talking to folks around, at the Super Bowl?
I just like interactions with guys like yourself. Yesterday, I went to a Rich Eisen wine party, and I met a guy that's head of the V Foundation, and just exchanging knowledge. I like to just get as much knowledge as I can. I used to use this as an opportunity just to party in my younger days.
Right.
But, I stopped drinking 2 years ago, and it's probably the best thing I've ever done.
I've heard that really helps.
Yes,
Yeah,
it helps me a
people.
lot. I'm so much sharper and focused in what I'm
Oh
trying to
man,
get
I may
done.
try that.
But yeah, I'm just want to make as many contacts as I can and see where things lead.
That is a theme I'm hearing. It's not just all the fun and games. It's and some people are like, the parties are fine, but where I really get value is the partnerships.
Exactly.
That happen.
Exactly. Learning from guys like yourself.
All right. Well,
Men
thank
like
you.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for not calling me sir, which has happened once too many times this trip. All right. Thank you very much. TJ Ward, what an honor, what a pleasure. All right, we're getting real. We're getting real in the starter lounge. With Shawn and Carl, we're going to hear their origin stories, what they want to get real about here at the Super Bowl. Before I get started, starter is awesome. I had my vintage starter on yesterday.
Syracuse?
From Syracuse.
There we go.
It was quite amazing. But I always do like to start with a little bit of an origin story, where you came from, why you do what you do, how you got where you are. We'll start with the man in blue.
Shawn Pecos.
Shawn.
CB, my guy. What's going on, fellas?
Good.
Thanks for being here.
First of all, thank you for having me on the podcast. You got a nice little setup here. My brother Carl Banks always goes strong with the starter jackets. I've been wearing these since the 80s.
And you got the Bad Bunny one on.
I got the Bad Bunny one.
This is a moment. Can I just let you guys know?
It's a moment.
This is a moment. To be able to have a Bad Bunny starter jacket for Super Bowl, it immediately becomes a collector's item, number one.
It's amazing.
By the way, I love Carl, and I came out to say hello. He's like, I got the Bad Bunny starter jackets in there. I said, Carl, I'll be right back. I'm going in there to buy two.
But
collector's item.
This is epic.
Yeah,
it
right?
really is. Yeah.
I mean, you've got the biggest star in the world, and
who won a Grammy like 3 days ago.
And the most iconic brand in sports, starter, can come together and put something that's a true collector's item now.
But you're about being iconic. You're an icon yourself.
I'm about, I know that I'm about brand integrity, personal brand integrity, and everything that I'm associated with that's consumer facing is all about integrity. And I teach that to my kids too, right? And so much so that I get lectured by my son sometimes if he thinks the logo is slightly off.
Oh, yeah. Where's he now? What does he do?
He's a computer guy.
Okay.
He's a computer guy in New Jersey. I think you met my daughter.
Yes.
Carmen. She's here. She'll be floating around here. She's a scientist.
Yes. Oh, she is. Okay.
Yes.
I don't think we got into that. Yeah.
Yeah. So integrity is important. Brand integrity is important. I know Pecos has been around a lot of entertainers and athletes, and he's done work with CAA, and, branding is everything, but the integrity of that, I think, is most important. When you say, Peck?
I mean, Carl, to tell you the truth, just one being Latino from the Bronx, and coming up in this business, I started off in music, Def Jam, and then working for Jay-Z, Rock Nation Sports, and now at CAA. This is an iconic piece, only because I've seen the growth of Bad Bunny. And for you to be able to take that brand, start a brand, and do a collaboration with Bad Bunny for Super Bowl is epic, man. So congratulations
Thank you,
to
sir.
you, brother, my man Tony. This is a real thing right here.
Well, it's about cultural moments, right? I mean, creating and being not only part of it, but the catalyst for cultural moments. I mean, and look, we work in healthcare primarily, but one of the reasons I bought Star Power was that, I needed, and I thought our clients needed a little bit more, less lecturing to the public and more listening to the public, because they were used to being doctors and, telling everybody what it was. It's like, no, we want to join the big culture.
Sure.
And these drugs cost a lot of money, and people have real life and death situations. We gotta tell a more, I think, personal story.
You make it relatable.
Yeah.
Like if somebody, listen, in a space now where you have to talk to the consumer, right? It's not necessarily the, and you know this better than I do, just the things that's on the label, but you got to have something that's relatable, right? And I see it more and more where people are integrating more, I would say, I would call it social currency into speaking to their consumer in a language that they understand.
Well, that's how people relate. They don't relate to everyone. We want to get the right person.
Right.
So how do you guys, and how have you matched up your celebrities and influencers with
Well, he's
brands?
the guy. This guy.
I know. That's what I wanted to ask Shawn.
He navigates celebrity from the minute he wakes up to when he goes to bed.
Yeah. So tell us, how you do it. How do you do what you do?
I mean, a lot of it is trust. Relationships go a long way. Carl is a guy that I met, just wasn't even really in the business at that time. I was just a New York Giants fan. I'm a real New York Giants fan.
Yes.
I got a tailgate every home game. I hurt every time my team loses, but I'm in the business of sports and entertainment, so I know about relationships. What I'm saying is, what I figured out was a way to just how to move people around where they trust me.
Yep.
And you just got to treat people like real people. When they want to be respected and don't want to deal with others, you respect that. When it comes time to go to work and apply the deliverables that sort of coordinate with whatever brand situation and deals they have, you just got to really sit down, lay it all out, and be transparent. So I think me being able and growing up with a lot of music artists a long time ago at Def Jam and Arista, I think it taught me how to deal with entertainers and sports celebrities on that forefront.
You're saying something we talk about all the time, right? Authenticity, good people. To me, that's Starter in a nutshell.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never walked into a Starter lounge or dealt with any of your people where I don't feel really good. Is that something you guys think about culturally at Starter?
Yeah, I mean, you should feel good. You should feel good about wearing the brand. You should feel good about the people who represent the brand, which starts with me. But there is, we call them starter stories, right?
Yeah.
This is a legacy brand, and we want the legacy to continue. And in order to do that, again, we've got to speak a language that people understand, and it's not unwelcoming. It has to be welcoming. We have to let you create your own story with the brand. This next generation and the generation after that have to continue to talk about the legacy and what their starter stories are.
How's it stayed so cool all these years? Like, that's not easy to do.
Well, I think that goes back to David Beckerman, the original founder of Starter. He made fandom a fashionable experience, and that had never happened before.
Right.
So he revolutionized how you saw the sidelines, and it also revolutionized how fans wanted to relate to their team. Like, they wanted that cool satin jacket that they saw Mike Dicker wear.
Yeah.
Right? And it went from every sport, every Olympic championship. It's been a part of every American championship Starter has been a part of. So there's not a American sport that Starter hasn't been a part of their championships. And so I think it stays cool because it's a library archives that go back to 1971.
And it's respect for that, right? It's respect for that history. It's respect for long-term relationships,
Yes.
which is what it's all about. Because I'm actually kind of glad to be sitting next to you, because everyone I've interviewed, like, so far are like 30-year-olds, and I'm as old as the Super Bowl, trying to be relevant. How do you stay? I mean, so tell us, Shawn, how do you stay relevant? How do your clients stay relevant?
I think it's learning, not being scared to learn new things, new trends. People 2 years ago talking about AI, they're terrified of AI, but you got to learn to embrace things, right? Bitcoin, all these other things, maybe they do well or they don't, but if you don't take the time to learn and learn from younger people and want to help younger people who are younger than you to help push you up, that's important too. Embracing the youth.
I keep my ear on the ground. I have young people that work for me.
So we call that reverse mentoring.
Now I got to reverse. You're a Syracuse guy. My 3 starter jackets right now, and I'm going to tell you where I'm at. My number one Starter jacket was my Syracuse University. There we go.
We
And
need
I'll
to.
tell you why.
got it? Where is it? We got to pose in that.
When I got it from Carl, thank you, Carl. I don't know if you remember this, but when I requested like a medium. He was like, why you want such a small one? I got Mello to autograph.
Wow.
That
Sweet.
joint with the championship year, right, everything, and I put it in my crib. I got
So
that in
cool.
the frame. So that's number one.
That's
because Melo's
amazing.
my brother. I had number two at the Bill Belichick coaching Giants jacket.
Oh,
The red.
Damn.
Belichick red.
Legend.
That's so good.
Legendary. Right?
Belichick red.
Fire. But now I'm going to have to swap Bill the 3 and the Bad Bunnies.
I mean,
number
that
two.
is pretty
This is
sweet.
Bad Bunny. Somebody
Lame.
gonna take that, man. It was limited edition.
Nah,
so
this is fair.
I'm
This
glad
is
you're
fire.
able to get it.
You know, Melo's my guy, so I can't.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so
From
they're
Puerto Rico.
gonna make us wrap it up so we can start our party. But I always like to ask a few fun questions at the end.
Okay.
First one: best vacation you've ever taken?
I just came back from Niseko, Japan with some of my friends. We had a good time out there. Shout out to my man Ronnie and them. We had a great time. I forgot that I had to scream pizza, pizza when I was going down the Black Diamond Hill. But, you know, shout out to my brother. So Niseko, Japan.
Pizza. Crazy.
For me, it's either Sardinia, Todos Santos,
They all good.
or Croatia.
Oh, never been
Croatia.
there.
I've
I
never
wanna
been to
check it out.
Croatia until I went about three years ago. Best food ever.
Were you out on the water there too? Isn't there
Yes.
water there and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I
Sardinia
hear the food
probably
is amazing. Yeah.
Food is amazing
Yeah, Sardinia is nice.
in Sardinia, but Sardinia it's my spot. That's awesome.
You know, that was a
good
good
about
one.
Sardinia, too. It's not a bad bottle of wine. Over
That's
there.
right.
All right. Next question is I'd like to know if you had to put an album to be the soundtrack of your life, what would that album be?
It'd have to be a mixtape for me. There's so many.
I'm with you, CB.
That's the
so
best
many
answer I
artists.
think I've ever heard to that
There's so
one.
many artists that are influential in how you move. Because I'm like Coltrane, Art Blakely to Prince to Michael to De La Soul.
Beautiful.
Like I can move in all of these spaces depending on
Yeah.
where I wake up in the morning. And then, if I'm locking in or if I need to de-stress, I don't think anything centers me more than a John Coltrane.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But like my soundtrack it's a mixtape.
Yeah, that's good. I like
Yeah.
that answer. Shawn, what about you?
Man, this is a hard question.
I figured, yeah, it'd be
He
hardest
lived
for
in
you.
music.
I
so
lived in music.
I
man.
know.
Maybe I guess say in my lifetime, because my life is more than one volume. So I'll probably say in my lifetime. I've come from very humble beginnings to be very fortunate to be where I am today. And I never would have gotten out there without my love for my family and my friends and great relationships. So in my lifetime is where I'm at.
Well, look, it was really awesome to get real with you guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
doing this partnership.
Thank you
It's
for
like
the
one of the
partnership,
best
man.
things we've done ever.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you for that.
My
Let's go
pleasure,
party. Hey everyone, we're getting real. Back in the starter lounge. Having a great time this week of Super Bowl. I mean, I can't believe the game hasn't happened yet. It feels like we've been here for a few minutes. I have the amazing Carmen Banks sitting next to me. When you talk about science, what's your approach? How do you think about science?
Yeah, so functionally as a scientist, I like to think about it as what are the world's most challenging problems and how can we solve those things, but also from a lens of how can we create more opportunities for folks who have been left out of the conversations? How can we innovate things that might help communities that we're not typically thinking about?
Was there anything in your background or upbringing that would have brought you into the world of science?
Yeah, so for me, I, grew up not seeing many people that look like me in the scientific field. And so once I got really curious about how I could create an impact in that industry, I became really determined to use my position as a scientist as a platform to bring more people into the field that look like me, but also to bring in some fresh ideas that could really benefit the field and benefit innovation as a whole.
Where did you go to school?
University of Maryland for my undergrad and University of California, Davis for my PhD.
Did anything surprise you as you got into both places? You know, did people, like you said, you weren't what people would typically expect to be in the scientific field. Tell me, did you encounter resistance or discouragement, or did you just get encouraged?
Oh, yeah. I mean, being a scientist is being discouraged almost 24 hours of the day. I'm always doing experiments that sometimes work, but most of the time it doesn't because biology is just really hard. But I think the most difficult thing for me when I was coming up as a junior scientist was really the lack of resources to turn a lot of my ideas and to communicate the science with impact going into industry. So we tend to see this gap between academia and industry that we aren't getting the training that we need coming out of undergrad or graduate school to become successful professionals at our big pharma companies or biotech startups.
Where are you applying your science background right now? What are you doing?
Yeah, so I apply my science in a lot of different ways. I started my career in food tech doing lab-grown meat. So that was pretty awesome to be able to contribute to a lot of the IP around cellular engineering and genome engineering for those cells that'll eventually become our food products. Dabbled a little bit in drug discovery when my startup pivoted, and now I'm working in ag tech to create some solutions for airborne pathogens.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty heavy stuff. What's the application in ag tech? When this all becomes reality, what happens?
Yeah.
Do we have like really weird hay and grass and corn, or what? What happens?
Yeah, so the challenge that we're working on right now actually has to do with pathogens that affect a lot of vineyards here in California.
Of course. Yeah.
And so as far as pest management goes, a lot of farmers just aren't sure when to spray their crops for specific types of fungi or pathogens. And so what we're doing at my company is helping our farmers have a better system for pest management and to be able to detect some of these pathogens earlier to save both money and to, save the environment a little bit with spraying their pesticides.
Is this your own startup, or
No, this is not my own startup.
Okay,
yeah.
That's cool. So where do you think you take it from here? What do you think people misunderstand about what you do that needs to get understood?
Science is not as scary as people think it is. I think a lot of people are discouraged from pursuing the field. A lot of people are discouraged from asking questions because of this knowledge gap that exists. But in reality, the more you know, the more empowered you are to make decisions. And so I think it's really important for platforms like yourself to really open up these conversations about how people are utilizing science, how it impacts the world around us, and how it's not so scary. And there's a lot of opportunity for folks to create different things that can change the world around us.
I know. It's really interesting that I'm here talking to you and I have so many ideas about how we can unlock you to make science interesting to more people. What are you doing? You said you're doing some stuff programmatically in the community. I know I work with something called Life Science Cares, which is a great organization, both in the Bay Area and Boston, but now going more national, about how we bring high school and some college students, but primarily high school students, into the science curriculum through job experience in biotech, life sciences, pharmaceuticals, all those things. Are you doing something similar?
I most certainly am. So I founded and run a company called Melanin Science. And at Melanin Science, we help the biotech and biopharma industry identify our next generation of scientific leaders by bridging that gap between academia, community, and the industry.
Wow, you may be the most relevant podcast guest to my podcast that I've had on all week at the Super Bowl. Are you finding a receptive audience at the Super Bowl where you might not think that's going to be a big topic?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's really opening folks' eyes to how science interacts with a lot of different things. So even down to the clothes that we're wearing or some of the jackets that Starter is generating, that's all coming from science. We need engineers, we need material science folks, we need chemists. And so having those conversations with people to understand that science isn't as far away as they think they are has opened up a lot of eyes this week.
Are we worried about agentic AI and all the scary stuff we hear about it, or is that going to help the field advance and maybe make more breakthroughs happen faster?
Yeah, AI has a lot of potential, not just in drug discovery, but in other areas like agriculture, synthetic biology, biomanufacturing. And so I think for us to generate new products, for us to generate new therapeutics, for us to create more solutions in the world, AI can be a very, very powerful tool.
Where are you based now?
I'm here in San Francisco.
You're in the Bay. Okay,
Yeah.
That's great. Are you finding, things in San Francisco exploding? Because I do kind of feel it's the home of AI, or one of the homes of AI internationally. What's the vibe?
I love being in San Francisco because it's such an innovative environment. It is honestly a builder's playground. And so the conversations that you'll have just even in line to get your coffee, you'll learn something new and a new way to create something or unlock a challenge that you've faced.
What's something you're getting real about this week at the Super Bowl?
Oh, I think I'm getting real about how scientists can look different than what you think. We're not just in lab coats, we're in really cute leather jackets, we're in our starter jackets, and we are very sociable too.
Yes, you are. And you said you're introverted, but you're obviously able to do this. And are you partnering with industry on this yet? Are there any notable partnerships?
Yeah, so we work pretty closely with Gilead, Denali Therapeutics as well.
Amazing.
And we're running a program for UC Davis in partnership with their biotechnology program called STEM Connect. So we're really excited about that.
Well, that's amazing. So I'm going to ask you a very non-scientific question, because I think you're going to answer this question in a way no one else has either this week. There's a soundtrack to your life. What would that be?
Oh, what a good question. I might have to think about that one a little bit more.
Well, while you're doing, tell me what the best vacation you've ever been on.
Oh, I just got back from Paris with my dad. That was a really fun trip.
Had you been there before?
When I was younger. So this is like my first time going as an adult, and I really enjoyed
Where'd
that.
Where'd you stay? Do you know what section of town you were in?
I honestly could not tell you.
Probably not. Okay.
But we traveled all around.
Yeah, were you near the Eiffel Tower?
We were not. We were near the Arc de Triomphe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then trying to think what part of town that is. I mean, I used to live there, so
oh, okay.
I do get. It's been a long time.
Yeah, near like the Louis Vuitton flagship store.
I like that. Are we? No, we're not blinging out.
We're
today.
not in Louis. No,
well,
not
actually,
today.
I am. It's just very subtle.
I love it
for me. Anyway, thanks so much, Carmen Banks, for being here. You are just a breath of fresh air.
Absolutely.
And you're going to make this Super Bowl crowd just a little bit smarter and a little bit happier.
I hope so. Thanks so much for having me, Jim.
Thank you. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining me on the Get Real Hybcast. I hope you feel a little healthier hanging out with me. It's going to be a lot of fun passing this along to others. Please subscribe below. Please share. I'm excited not just to talk about healthcare, but a lot of other fun topics. It's about making healthy talk about healthcare. It's not a lecture. This is supposed to be fun, and look forward to spending more time with you in the future.